So I just watched Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it coming up. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in to talk about movies with me. I really appreciate that. Black Panther Wakanda Forever came out today, and I got the chance to see it. So I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the movie, what I liked, what I didn't like. But before we get into it, if you guys are new to the channel and you guys like content like this, I make content like this all the time, movie reviews, movie reactions, stuff like that. So if you're into that, go ahead and press subscribe down below and turn on the post notifications so you guys never miss another video. It's the holiday season, so I'm going to be making a bunch of different holiday themed movie reviews and watching some for the first time. But with all that down, let's get into Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So Black Panther Wakanda Forever is obviously the sequel to the first Black Panther released in 2017, and it starred Chadwick Boseman, who unfortunately passed away a year ago. The sequel was already in development at that time, and I can't even imagine how much pressure Ryan Coogler was under while making this movie. Apparently he had to rewrite the entire script, and you know, in the grand scheme of things, rewriting an entire script doesn't seem like the biggest problem at this point, but he managed to do it, and here we are today watching this movie that he completed without Chadwick Boseman. And I can honestly say that this is probably one of my favorite MCU movies that has ever been made, because it doesn't feel like an MCU movie. This movie feels a lot like a regular human story with a lot of emotion. Obviously you get a lot of the superhero stuff in there because we have a antagonist, Namor, and then we also have the fictional nation of Wakanda, and it's obviously in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so there are superhero stuff going on. But at the core of it, Ryan Coogler was able to kind of tell a story about mourning and grieving. Honestly, I'm honestly blown away by this movie, not just because of what they were able to achieve after Chadwick Boseman's death, but because of how it was made. I think that they paid respects in a respectful way. The entire movie is not focused on Chadwick Boseman's death. It's more focused on moving forward, and I think that's the entire theme of the movie. They don't harken back to T'Challa's death in the movie as much as you think they would, because of how huge a character like T'Challa was in the movies. But they definitely do right by paying respects to him, and I think that it's a tough situation, but they handled it perfectly fine. So the performances all across the board were fantastic. I think Letitia Wright, Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, they all did fantastic in the movie. It really didn't even feel like anybody was acting. Oh, also Tenoch Huerta. Everybody did fantastic. I have no complaints. The cinematography was fantastic as well. I think that this is a super colorful movie, and especially when you put it up against the first Black Panther, which was insanely colorful. There's a lot of natural light, and it feels like this is one of those Marvel movies that they haven't filmed on green screens. The majority of the movie wasn't filmed on a green screen. It really does feel like you're on location in Wakanda or out in the ocean with Namor and the nation of Talokan. So aesthetically pleasing. I do want to talk about the direction and the screenplay. Obviously he was in a super tough spot trying to finish this movie for Chadwick Boseman. He did an excellent job. I think that even with the 2 hour and 41 minute runtime, it does not feel like that. It does feel long. You can definitely tell that it is a long movie, but the way that scenes are set up and how it transitions into the next, the pacing is just fantastic. I know I'm saying fantastic a lot, but it's true. This movie is, I'm surprised that this movie was even finished, and I'm also surprised that this movie is as good as it is. Another thing that I want to credit Ryan Coogler for is his writing. I think that all the dialogue in the movie was snappy. It didn't feel like a Marvel movie script. It actually feels like human beings having conversations. And Angela Bassett, again, all the performances were great. Angela Bassett was fantastic. I gotta stop saying fantastic. Angela Bassett was amazing. She was great. People are talking about Oscar buzz for supporting actress. That could be a possibility. There's not a lot to complain about this movie. I think that the action was great too, especially with Namor, because they made Namor look amazing on screen. He looked fluid. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He didn't look like there was only a couple times where it seemed like he was CGI, but the way that Namor flies and the way that Namor uses his powers looks so good on screen. And I think Ryan Coogler captured that beautifully. We got to talk about the score. This was obviously something that was huge for Black Panther back in 2017. The score here is just as perfect. I think that it's beautiful, somber, and even the new theme for Namor is just absolutely perfect. There's a lot to love about this movie. The one thing that I don't necessarily love is, and this might be a spoiler if you guys didn't watch the trailers, I'm gonna give you guys a quick second to fast forward through the video or just turn the video off if you guys don't want to know any spoilers, but we are gonna talk about a little bit of spoiler here. But okay, so the new Black Panther is Shuri. It follows the comics kinda. She does become the new Black Panther, and when I heard these rumors back last year, I thought, okay, that doesn't seem right. I know I was aware of the comic situation, and I was aware of the history of Shuri's character and how she does become the Black Panther in the comics. I just didn't know how well that would translate to film, because the film and the comics are two separate things, especially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because if they did follow the comics, then Thanos would have snapped away half of the universe to impress a girl, and I think we can all agree that would have been stupid. So Marvel movies not following the comics or following the comics could be a hit or miss, but they do manage to make Shuri the Black Panther, and I think it was done well. It was kind of obvious where it was heading. They mentioned it in the scripts numerous times. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I might have to watch it again, but this is something I'm pretty unsure of. Letitia Wright obviously puts on a tremendous performance. She's definitely the lead character of the movie. I just don't know how I feel about Shuri in the MCU being the Black Panther. I think that a lot of her action sequences didn't really seem believable. That's just me, though. I feel like M'Baku should have been the new Black Panther, or my idea was to have all of these supporting characters that we've seen just become Black Panthers, and I thought that would have worked. That's obviously not the route that they went, and they managed to have Shuri become the new Black Panther. And for the story, it serves its purpose. It serves its purpose. And that's all I'll say, because I don't want to get into more spoilers, but they definitely made it work logically. So that's all I can really ask for. I don't have to like it, but as long as it makes sense in the movie, I'm fine with. And it did good enough for me to the point where, okay, that's not like really a huge deal. I just would have liked it to be a different way, but it's not a knock on the movie. Guys, everything about this movie is great. It's definitely emotional. It's definitely not super action heavy, but for me, I think that's what we needed after having Marvel movies like Thor: Love and Thunder or Eternals and stuff like that. Eternals was very it tried a lot. Look, I'm gonna get into a fucking Eternals rant right now, but Eternals tried a lot with the characters, but it didn't execute, and there was still a lot of action in that movie too. This one, they try to do a lot with the characters in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and I feel like they executed it, and I feel like they executed it beautifully. This movie was definitely a breath of fresh air, and honestly, quite personally, I think that this movie is the best Phase 4 MCU movie. I left the theater satisfied. Again, if you guys watched the movie, let me know what you thought down below in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on those post notifications if you guys like content like this. I'm going to be making content like this, and we are in the busy season of movie theaters, so I'm going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. We're also going to be talking about a lot of holiday movies, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys subscribe. You guys don't want to miss those. I'm also working on getting a podcast together where we talk more about movies, and it's more long-form content. That's going to be really cool. So if you guys are interested in all that, just click subscribe. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to talk about movies with me. I really appreciate that, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. I love talking about movies, and I'm just glad I can talk about it with you guys. That's all the time I got for you guys, so I will see you in the next video.